हरि जय राधा माधव जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरावनचारी यमुना तीरावनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जायामुदीरये नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतीरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः नमो पंकजनाभाय नमो पंकजमालिने नमो पंकजनेत्राय नमस्ते पंकजांग्रे Hare Krishna. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 1, entitled Questions by Vidura, text number 15. Please respond. Kayena matro pajuhava jimham dasaya sutam yad baline vapushtaha दास्याः सुतं यद् बलिनैव पुष्टः तस्मिन् प्रतीपः प्रकृत्या आस्ते तस्मिन् प्रतीपः प्रकृत्या आस्ते निर्वास्यताम् आशु पुरा श्वसानः निर्वास्यताम् आशु पुरा श्वसानः कैनमत्रोपजुहावजिह्मम् दासाय सुतं यद्बलिनेव पुष्टः तस्मिन् प्रतीपः परकृत्य आस्ते निर्वास्यतामाशु पुरा श्वसानः कैनमत्रोपजुहावजिह्मम् दास्याय सुतं यद्बलिनेव पुष्टः तस्मिन् प्रतीपः परकृत्य आस्ते निर्वास्यतामाशु पुरा श्वसानः Mataji's. Word-to-word meaning, translation and purport. Kaha, who, enam, this, atra, here, upajuhava, called for, jhemam, crooked, dasyaha, of a kept mistress, sutam, son, yat, whose, balina, by whose subsistence, eva, certainly, pushtaha, grown up, tasmin, unto him, pratipaha, enmity, prakritya, enemy's interest, aste, situated, nirvasyatam, get him out, ashu, immediately, purat, from the palace, shvasanaha, let him breathe only. Translation. Who asked him to come here, the son of a kept mistress? He is so crooked that he spies in the interest of the enemy against those on whose support he has grown up. Toss him out of the palace immediately and leave him with only his breath. Purport by His Divine Grace, Shri A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. When getting married, the Kshatriya kings would take on several other youthful girls along with the married princes. These girl attendants of the king were known as dasis or attendant mistresses. By intimate association with the king, the dasis would get sons. Such sons were called dasiputras. They had no claim to a royal position, but they would get maintenance and other facilities just like princes. Vidura was the son of such a dasi, and he was thus not counted amongst the Kshatriyas. King Dhritarashtra was very affectionate towards his younger dasiputra brother, Vidura, and Vidura was a great friend and philosophical advisor to Dhritarashtra. Duryodhana knew very well that Vidura was a great soul and well-wisher, but unfortunately he used strong words to hurt his innocent uncle. Duryodhana not only attacked Vidura's birth, but also called him an infidel, because he seemed to support the cause of Yudhishthir, whom Duryodhana considered his enemy. He desired that Vidura be immediately put out of the palace and deprived of all of his possessions. If possible, he would have liked him caned until he was left with nothing but his breath. He charged that Vidura was a spy of the Pandavas because he advised King Dhritarashtra in their favor. Such is the situation of palace life and the intricacies of diplomacy, that even a faultless person like Vidura could be charged with something abominable and punished. Vidura was struck with wonder at such unexpected behavior from his nephew Duryodhana, and before anything actually happened, he decided to leave the palace for good. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanyam Ishwaram Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Yonta pravishya mama vachamimam prasuptan sanjivayata kila shakti dhara swadhamna anyam shahasta charana shravana tvagadin pranan namo bhagavate purushaya tubhyam katanchana smrute yasmin duskaram sukaram bhavet vismrute vipritam syat Sri Chaitanya namamitam. Hare Krishna. We welcome all devotees to our Sunday festival program. Thank you for coming today morning, and we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, where we are reading a very poignant section where Vidura is going through a lot of churning in his heart. So we are discussing this section, and we are especially today discussing how Duryodhana insulted Vidura. Very harsh words, calling him as son of a kept mistress and crook. Very insulting, especially for someone who has rendered selfless service his entire life. And after so many decades of selfless service, the reward he gets is accusation of being a spy of the Pandavas, and his character being questioned, and is being thrown out of the palace. I mean, this is like ultimate insult for a Kshatriya. That's material world for you. Therefore, if you see in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna, one of the very first instructions Krishna gives in the Gita, Matra sparshastu kaunteya shita ushna sukha dukkhada agamapa ino nitya stamti tikshasva bharata. Krishna says that the senses and the sense objects are contacting in this material world. So therefore, we should be equipoised during Shita, Ushna, Sukha, Dukkha. During summer, winter, during happiness and distress, both times, Agamapa, Anitya, they will come and go. So don't get too excited by happiness or distress. Just tolerate. Tam, titikshasva, bharata. Tolerate. When we are miserable, we understand when we are told tolerate. But Krishna is saying tolerate not just miseries, but also happiness. Because this material world, the pleasure that we experience also has to be tolerated in one sense. Because look at Vidura, after years of service, this is what he's getting. So we enjoy, every enjoyment, it's a seed of suffering is there. So it's not a big deal. So therefore, this is a very, very important instruction. Tolerate. And don't take happiness with too much excitement. Therefore, if you see our Nectar of Devotion, which is our main standard textbook for devotees who are practicing Bhakti Yoga, Rupa Goswami says, I think the 11th of the 64 items of Bhakti is equilibrium in loss and gain. This is one of the things we are supposed to follow. Equilibrium in loss and gain. Both times be equilibrium. Because material gain, don't jump around like a monkey, so happy. No. And when sad, don't be so depressed. Because this is agamapa, anityas. It will come and go. It's very strong, actually. So 11th instruction is be equilibrium. Because what happens when we get too happy? When we get too happy, we forget Krishna. And when we are too miserable also, we forget Krishna. And what is the essence of sadhana bhakti? Always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. So, we are unable to follow the essence of sadhana bhakti when we are carried away by too much happiness or distress. Therefore, contrary to the popular notion nowadays, we are asked to be sober. Nowadays, small things, people get stimulated and excited and they jump around. This is very important instruction. So, because, whenever we try to experience happiness of the contact of senses with the sense objects, there is a seed of suffering. Yai samsparshaja bhoga dukkha yonaya evate adyantavanta kaunteya nateshu ramate buddha. That whenever senses contact sense objects, dukkha yonaya evate, they will eventually bring misery. So, X amount of happiness is equal to 2x of misery. That is the formula of material world. X is equal to 2x. Because Adi Anta Vanta Kaunteya, because it has Adi and Anta. When any happiness which has beginning and end will bring misery. Therefore, Nateshu Ramate Buddha, Buddhiman Vyakti, intelligent person will not try to enjoy those kind of happiness. Therefore, if you see, and Vidura has been focused on his service, therefore he could handle this kind of insult. Most people would have commit suicide. Or Kshatriya, they would have fought or they would have done something disastrous. But because he was a devotee whole life, he could tolerate. Therefore, he is a hero, unsung hero of Mahabharata. Actually, one of India's former presidents, scientist, well-known, missile man of India, who is he? Dr. Abdul Kalam. He was a Muslim by birth, but he was a Sanatani by his behavior, by his lifestyle. So he knew Sanskrit very well, and his favorite book was Mahabharata. He knew Bhagavad Gita, he knew Sanskrit. And he said, my favorite character is Vidura. He in fact wrote a poem also on Vidura, a long poem on Vidura. Because Vidura is such a character who stood for truth. And he did not budge from the truth. He never flattered his brother Dhritarashtra or his nephew Duryodhana. But he remained loyal and faithful to the throne. This is very, very amazing quality. And finally what happens to him? When he's insulted like this, is it that his ecstasy is like sometimes we think, for a devotee when he's insulted like this, suffering, devotees, nothing happens to them. No, devotees also go through pain. Vidura went through pain, but because he's a devotee, he is able to swallow that pain. Saitamatyul banakarna baner bratu puromar masutaditopi swayam danurdhari nidhaya mayam gatavyato yad urumanayana. The Bhagavatam describes the churning that happened in Vidura's heart. When Duryodhana was speaking so harshly, Saitamatyul banakarna baner, the arrow was shot through his ear. Kshatriya prefers an arrow coming to the chest. But this arrow came to the ear. Karna baner. And yesterday Purushottam Prabhu was saying, more than Duryodhana's insult, what pained him was his brother Dhritarashtra's silence. That was more painful. Bratu puromar masutaditopi. His brother's indifference, taditopi, extreme pain Vidura is going through. After decades of service, this is the reward. Extreme pain he went through, although he is a devotee. But why is he different? Swayam danurdhari nidhaya mayam. He is a Kshatriya and he kept his bow and quiver at the throne. This is a very big insult. Arjuna, when he was told, remove your Gandiva, he was about to kill Yudhishthira Maharaj. It is a very big insult for a Kshatriya to be told, remove your throne, remove your bow. Dhanush nikal ke. We don't understand how can it be. Are Dhanush to hum nikal ke de denge. We don't understand it's an insult. For us, if somebody says remove your iPhone and give it, then we feel we are attached to phone. Kshatriyas during those days are attached to their bow. Dhanush unke liye bahut bada cheez tha. And he's being told, and he kept it. So he was in pain, but Swayam danurdhari nidhaya mayam gatavyato yaduru manayana. He had these two conflicting, contradictory emotions in his heart. Extreme pain, but he also realized, oh, this is the Maya, illusory potency. My nephew Duryodhana is in big Maya. And thinking like this, although he's in extreme pain, Gatavyato yaduru manayana, he became very happy, thinking that now I will get a chance to perform devotional service more. Because so many years I could not do so much bhakti because of politics, management. And now I can go to holy places and do more devotional service. Does that mean he was not in denial? See, that is sometimes devotees, they go through suffering. Like one family, they lost their daughter in a freak accident. But this Mataji was constantly saying, no, Prabhuji, I'm surrendered to Krishna, I'm happy. No, you're not happy, cry. It's okay to cry. It's okay to be in pain. No, that is denial. That is called toxic positivity. It is not positive thinking. It is poisonous toxic positivity. Because it's inside you are in pain. So better accept it. So Vidura accepted that he was saddened. Taditopi, extreme pain he is going through. At the same time, simultaneously he is also feeling joyful that I'm going to get a chance to do more devotional service. Ambivalence, sometimes you can have both emotions. We think either you should be happy or you should be sad. In Facebook, either you like or you dislike. Can't you have both like and dislike? Sometimes it happens like that. So I'm happy and I'm also not happy. It can happen. So Vidura is feeling like that. Extreme pain. These are very beautiful verses in the Bhagavatam. And his amazing quality was, he was going through this churning of his heart. Devotees also go through this. They go through the problems like the materialistic people, but they are also happy because they have Krishna. That's why materialistic people are bewildered, They think, I have so much, I have everything. And you are just Hare Krishna, how are you happy? What do you have? And devotee says, Mere paas Krishna hai. I have Krishna with me. That is the beauty of devotees. But that doesn't mean that they don't go through the suffering of material world. That is very important. And Vidura is especially amazing because he did not hesitate to speak the truth. See, Dhritarashtra's fault was, Dhritarashtra would keep quiet. He would not, his crime was, when he should have spoken, he kept quiet. Vidura spoke. Sometimes, devotees think, I'll keep quiet. They prefer popularity over truth. That if I speak the truth, then I'll become unpopular. यहाँ सभी खामोश हैं, कोई आवाज नहीं करता, बोल के सच कोई किसी को नाराज नहीं करता. We don't want to speak truth and say anything, make anyone sad. Just keep quiet, diplomatic, चुप रहो. ऐसा नहीं चलता. Maturity means to balance courage and consideration. Sometimes we are very considerate. Be kind to everyone, considerate. So in that consideration, we don't have the courage to speak the truth. Sometimes we go to other extreme. Very courageous. मैं तो सच बोलता हूँ प्रभु जी. I am very blunt. But in that courage, we become insensitive. So maturity means to have both. What both? Courage and sensitivity. And especially we will be put in situations where we have to speak the truth. And that time, humbly, Prahlad Maharaj did not beat around the bush. हाथ जोड़ के सच बोल देने का. Prabhu, I am sorry, this is the truth. So it is painful, but बोलना पड़ेगा. रामधारी सिंह दिनकर, very famous national poet, he said, समर शेष है नहीं पाप का भागी केवल व्याध. It's not only the hunter who is killing is sinful now, but time is very powerful. If you are sitting on the fence, समर शेष है नहीं पाप का भागी केवल व्याध, जो तटस्थ हैं समय लिखेगा उनका भी अपराध. So those who try to play diplomacy, try to be sitting on the fence, not taking sides, sometime or the other you will get galis from both parties. Sometimes you have to make a choice. So Vidura did not hesitate. He spoke the truth and he paid the price. But then those who are, see, the hallmark of such a great character is centuries later, millennia later, he is still adored by intelligent, thoughtful men like Dr. Abdul Kalam. Therefore, one has to stand for truth. And Vidura's amazing quality, the best part about Vidura is what? Two things is very striking to my heart, at least. Vidura's compassion and his humility. Compassion means what? See how much he should have been hurt with Dhritarashtra. How much hurt he is. But what he does after the war, after all his pilgrimage, what does he do? He comes back. He comes back to the palace, not to enjoy the facilities of the palace. He comes back to save his brother Dhritarashtra from material entanglement. And he preaches to him, helps him go on the path of renunciation, helps his very brother who gave pain to Vidura. That requires real selflessness. And that is what Vidura practiced. See, when somebody insults us very much, we may not harm them because of our culture, but at least we will avoid them. Right? We will not deliberately go and embrace someone who is insulting you. You will say, I will not fight with him, but I'll avoid him. But Vidura comes back to that very person who humiliated him and gives him love. That is one. Second, humility. We see that when Vidura was gone out of the palace, he could have directly gone to Krishna, because Krishna loves him. When Krishna came to Hastinapur, he would go to Vidura's palace and eat simple food rather than Chappan Bhog of Duryodhana. So Vidura could have thought, okay, now I have been thrown out of the palace, I will go to my dear friend Krishna in Dwarka. No. Vidura said, I am so sinful. This is what Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport. Vidura thought, I am so sinful, I have done so much politics management. I am not qualified directly to go to Krishna. Let me go to all the holy places, hear from devotees, do Shravanam and get purified. Let me be servant of servant. Vidura had the right. He could have directly gone to Krishna. But he preferred to be humble servant. So this is how Vidura is very, very, very special. So therefore, the lesson we get in this section of the Bhagavatam, especially the way Vidura is treated, is whoever you are, don't look for happiness in this material world. Think of getting attached to Krishna. Because you will get suffering. जो भाग्य में है, वो भाग कर आएगा. जो नहीं है, वो आकर भी भाग जाएगा. What to speak of you and me and Vidura? Even Krishna did not get all support in this material world when he came. So when Krishna was here, Partha, Arjuna told him, go to the Sabha, go to the assembly and give our message. Yada cha Partha prahita sabhayam Jagad Guru Yani Jagada Krishna Nathani Pumsam Amritana Yani Rajo Rumene Kshata Punya Lesha. The Bhagavatam describes when Partha and Yudhishthir sent him to the Sabha as a peace messenger, who has gone? Jagad Guru Yani Jagada Krishna. The Lord, the spiritual master of the whole planet, the whole universe, Krishna is going as a simple messenger. So somebody may think the Supreme Lord has come as messenger, everybody will worship him. Natani pumsam amritana yani. Not everyone found Krishna's words amrit. Rajo rumene kshatapunya lesha. Kings who had very little pious credit, sinful people, they took offense by Krishna's presentation. Sometimes they would say, Prabhuji, my intention was very good. I spoke nicely, but still they misunderstood. Arey, what to speak of you? Even Krishna is misunderstood in this material world. And Krishna is not crying, why this happened, why this happened. Devotees, one of the mistakes we do when we do introspection is we ask too much the question, why? Why this happened, Prabhuji? Why my life is like that? My karma, no? I am bad, no? Why I have to suffer, Prabhuji? मेरे साथ ही ऐसा क्यों होता है? मेरी जिंदगी तो, we keep crying, lamenting, asking why. Actually, introspection, people think if you have a culture of journaling, introspection, awareness, you will be very happy. Sorry. If you don't do it the right way, introspection can lead to more depression. It can lead to more depression, especially when we ask why too much. We should have the intelligence to know when not to use the intelligence. We should have the intelligence to know when to ask why and when to ask what. Instead of asking why I am suffering, we should ask, what can I do now to come closer to Krishna? What can I do now to improve my relationship with the Vaishnavas? So one Prabhuji is coming and complaining, Prabhuji, why my boss is like that? My boss and me, we are like oil and water, we just always fighting. Why it is like that, Prabhuji? I said, forget why, ask what you can do to improve your relationship with your boss. He thought like that. And then his relationship improved. Go positive, go forward, don't go backwards. जिंदगी समझना है तो पीछे देखो, पर जिंदगी जीना है तो आगे देखो. So you ask why for some time, but then you ask what I should do now. Oh, I got cancer, I got this disease, why like this? Wait. What is really meaningful for me? What is really important for me? And then you'll see how your consciousness changes. So even Krishna went through disappointment. And because Pandavas had this mood like Vidura, they accepted all the suffering that they got without complaint. And the reward they got was amazing. Yadvayam mantra kridvo bhagavan akileshwara pauravendra graham hitva praviveshatmasat kritam. Because of their surrender mood, what is the reward they got? Supreme Lord Bhagavan Akileshwara, he gave up the comforts and welcome of Duryodhana. Pauravendra Griha Mitva Praviveshat Masat Kritam, and he entered Arjuna's house as if it is his own house. Bindas used to walk in, sleep on Arjuna's bed, joke, talk with them. Supreme Lord treating Pandavas as if is his own house. That much love Krishna got for the Pandavas, because Pandavas were surrendered to his will. They said yes, they accepted whatever they got without complaining. They practiced Tattenu Kampam verse. And therefore Brahmaji says, a person who follows, who accepts what he gets without criticizing Krishna, without blaming the Lord, and quietly moves forward, he becomes a rightful heir to Krishna's love. Pure love. Pure bhakti will become his property if he accepts Krishna's will. And that is what Vidura practiced, that is what Pandavas practiced. Now you will say, after hearing all of this, you will say, okay Prabhuji, but how to do this? Because ISKCON, almost devotees, we are addicted to how question, how to do it questions. How, anything good you hear, how to do it, how to get it. So Prabhuji, how to become like Vidura? How to become like Pandavas? Okay, there are two things we need to do. One is certain activities, certain things we need to do. And then secondly, there are certain qualities that we need to cultivate in the heart. So what are the activities that we need to do? It's not a rocket science, simple. Hearing, chanting, and devotional service. Because when we do that, when crisis comes, when suffering comes, when pain comes, we will be able to hold ourselves properly. Arjuna, Pandavas went through very big suffering after some years. Krishna left this world. And Arjuna comes back. And he tells Yudhishthira Maharaj what has happened. And they are devastated. Arjuna is devastated. His best friend is gone. You can imagine the pain he's going through. But the Bhagavatam describes how Arjuna survived. What happened? How Arjuna thrived in that situation. Deshakalartha yuktani rittapo pashamani cha haranti smaratas chittam govinda bhitani me. Whatever Krishna spoke, Arjuna meditated, because instructions of Krishna, Deshakalartha yuktani, at all time, place and circumstances they can nourish us. Hrittapo pashamani cha, the hankering of the heart will become peaceful. Heart will become peaceful. Haranti smaratas chittam, intelligence will become peaceful. Govinda bhitani me, meditate on Krishna's instructions. Scriptures, Bhagavatam, hearing classes. Because Arjuna did that, when he went through a big suffering, he was peaceful. Although he was in pain, he became peaceful. That is why you will see some of ISKCON's stalwart devotees, you will see their culture. They will always read Bhagavatam. Sukhme, Dukhme, whatever situation. Like His Holiness Srila Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj from Rajkot. He's gone back to Krishna now. His favorite place was Nasik. He would spend a lot of time there. Many devotees were fortunate we could meet him. He would always read Bhagavatam. Now he would go to some disciple's house and let's say there is a marriage ceremony. Marriage ceremony also he will read Bhagavatam. There is some death in the house. Death also they will read Bhagavatam. Not that he was looking for giving practical classes which will solve problems. We always want practical classes. Prabhu, give me 3 solutions, 4 points, 5 solutions, acronym. We always want all these practical solutions. Prabhuji, class was very practical. He gave pure Bhagavatam and that was the most practical. So for example, somebody died at home. So it's not that he picked up Bhagavatam and said, okay, now what is most practical for them? Maybe we'll read Chitraketu pastime or this pastime. No. Whatever he is reading, whatever is inspiring, nourishing him, that section he would open and he would speak Bhagavatam. Because Bhagavatam, Krishna will nourish your heart. If there is happy occasion, it's not that, okay, let us see some happy episode from Bhagavatam. And let us speak something happy which has happened in Bhagavatam because he is happy. Not that kind of material logic. Bhagavatam is Krishna. Let us associate with Krishna. That is what pure devotees do. If you see Srila Prabhupada's classes, Mayapur Gaur Purnima lectures, 1974, he is giving all Prahlad Maharaj prayer classes. I think 7 or 8 days. He is just absorbed in Bhagavatam. That doesn't mean devotees should not read and prepare and speak on the context. Don't go to extremes. But I'm just saying how pure devotee's consciousness is. So, because they taken shelter of Bhagavatam, all the time glorifying, hearing Krishna's instructions, when pain and suffering comes, they are able to take that poison pill. जहर मरने के लिए थोड़ा सा, पर जिंदा रहने के लिए बहुत पीना पड़ता है. So that poison, to live alive, to remain alive, we have to drink a lot. So we need strength. Bhagavatam will give us that. So then what happened to Arjuna? Because he was, remember the situation. Arjuna especially is in extreme pain because Krishna has left, but he's remembering Krishna's instructions. So because remembering Krishna's instructions, you know what happened to him? Evam chintayato jishno Krishna pada saroruham saurdenati gadena shanta sid vimalamati. Now, because he was remembering Krishna's instructions, evam chintayato jishno, his consciousness went to Krishna's lotus feet. Krishna pada saroruham. You know, lotus flower, how it starts blossoming, you've seen? Slowly it blossoms, its petals open up. So when Arjuna was meditating on Krishna's instructions, his consciousness, it is explained that his heart expanded like a lotus flower with Krishna. Krishna in his heart. He was becoming Krishna Maya. Saurdenati Gadena, and his intimate friendship with Krishna was getting more and more nourished in his heart. Shanta Sid Vimalamati, his consciousness became peaceful and Vimala, all contamination, everything went away. And because of that, his meditation on Krishna became more intense. It began with what? Meditation? Meditation began with what? Instructions. And where it is going now? Vasudevangri anudhyana paribhrahmita ramhasa bhaktya nirmatita shesha kashaya dishanu Arjuna. So Arjuna's consciousness is described. Vasudevangri anudhyana is meditation on Krishna's lotus feet, because he was always with Krishna. He could remember Krishna, he could talk with Krishna, he could laugh with Krishna, they would eat together. So his remembrance of Krishna became natural and deeper. And because of that, two things happened in great speed. Ramasa means great speed. Two things happened. Paribhrahmita ramasa. One, bhaktya, his devotional attachment to Krishna expanded, and nirmatita ashesha kashaya, unlimited dirt which is there in material world, it was never near Arjuna. Means unlimited bhakti entered the heart and unlimited contamination stayed away. Nothing negative came to Arjuna, but only attachment to Krishna came. This is what happens. After hearing all this, you will say, but Prabhuji, how we can get like this? How questions we always ask. So another how, even if we, what is the how? What is the first answer to how? Do bhakti, hearing, chanting, and remembering Krishna's lotus feet. They would say, but how can we hear Krishna's, remember Krishna's instructions? Arjuna was lucky because he got direct instructions from Krishna. We are not getting, Krishna has not told us directly like he told Arjuna. So therefore, Sutta Goswami says, Geetam Bhagavatam Jnanam Tattat Sangrama Murdani Kala Karma Tamo Ruddham Punaradhyagamat Prabhu. Arjuna became Prabhu. Arjuna Prabhu. Arjuna became Prabhu again, master, controller of his senses, because Geetam Bhagavatam Jnanam. All of us have been given Gita and Bhagavat. This knowledge is there. So if Krishna is not personally present in our life, Krishna has come personally in the form of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. So just like Krishna was present to give instructions to Arjuna, he is present to give instructions to us. Geetam Bhagavatam Jnanam, through Gita and Bhagavatam. Why? Like Arjuna, we are also fighting war. Tatta Sangrama Murdani. We are also in a war. Arjuna was fighting who? Kauravas. Who are we fighting? Kala Karma Tamo Ruddham. We are fighting time. Anybody here who is not going to get old? All of us are going to get old. Karma, our karmic reactions are coming. We have to face it. Tamo Guna is attacking us. Punaradhya Gamat Prabhu. When these enemies attack us, we can again become Prabhu. If we have what instructions? From where? Gita and Bhagavat. So this is the answer to the first how. So there are two things we need to do. I am talking about how we can become like Vidura, Pandavas. First is the activities of devotional service, hearing and chanting. So hearing and chanting basically means Bhagavatam and Gita. See, there is one very beautiful lecture of Srila Prabhupada. I want to bring this to your attention. So this is 1974 lecture series on third canto, same section. In Bombay, Prabhupada, December, first week, second week, Prabhupada was in Bombay, he was giving lectures. So in one lecture, Prabhupada says, this is an amazing example. He says, when he was a young boy, we are now going to the year 1910, 1920, college life. He's talking about his college life in Kolkata. He says, we would get degree. So to get degree, graduation degree, we had to give exam. But not everybody was qualified to give exam. He said, we had to have 75% attendance. Then you are allowed to appear for exam. Then if you pass the exam, you get certificate and you become graduate. Then Prabhupada looks at the audience and says, similarly in bhakti, if you want to become graduate in bhakti yoga, you want to get certificate from Krishna, you have to pass the exams that Krishna conducts in your life. But Krishna will not conduct exams for anyone and everyone. Prabhupada says, if you want to appear for exams conducted by Krishna, then you have to have 75% attendance in Bhagavatam classes. I was so amazed when I heard this. So then he says, so 75% attendance if we have in Bhagavatam classes, then we are qualified to appear for exams conducted by Krishna. If we don't have such attendance in hearing, then the exams will be conducted by Maya Devi, not Krishna. And those exams, even if we pass, it is like failing only. What is the use of passing exams conducted by Maya Devi? We want to pass exams, because when we pass the exams conducted by Krishna, what we will get? Pure devotional service. So therefore, hearing and chanting devotional service is the first solution. Most important. We may say, but Prabhuji, how to hear and chant? We understood. Krishna told Arjuna, he has told us also. But Arjuna was lucky. Arjuna could personally associate with Krishna. We are not seeing Krishna. So therefore, Bhagavatam, Kapiladev knows, all of us will keep asking how all the time. So Kapiladev says, we may not get personal association of Krishna, but you have got deities. Sachintayet Bhagavatas Charanarabindam Vajrankushadvaja Saroru Alanchanadhyam Uttunga Rakta Vilasam Nakachakravala Josna Birahadamahad Hridayandakaram. What a beautiful verse. He says, we are also lucky like Arjuna. Arjuna saw Krishna. We have deities. We have Radha Gopinath. And what we have to do? Sachintayet Bhagavatas Charanaravindam. Look at Gopalji's lotus feet. Gopinath's lotus feet. Gaurnita's lotus feet. So when we meditate on the lotus feet of Krishna, we also meditate on Vajrankushadvaja Saroru Alanchanadhyam. Vajra, the thunderbolt. Ankusha, the elephant goat, which are the symbol in Krishna's lotus feet. Dvaja, flag. So all these beautiful signs are there in Krishna's lotus feet. We meditate on the signs of lotus feet. So like that, we can also meditate on the deities. Uttunga Rakta Vilasam Nakachakravala. And Krishna's, the toenails, it's dazzling like pearls. It's like rubies, bright, shining. And the soles of his feet, they are reddish. So if we meditate on those things, the nails which are dazzling, the soles which are reddish, and the signs on his lotus feet. Jyotsna Birahadamad Hridayandakaram. This is Jyotsna, the effulgence of this meditation. See, this is Krishna's lotus feet is effulgent. So if you meditate on that effulgence, Jyotsna, that effulgence will enter the heart and do what? Ahada Mahad. There is a lot and lot. Mahad means huge amount of andhakar. Jyotsna birahada mahad hridayandakaram. Hriday mein jo andhakar hai, the darkness which is there in the heart, which is forgetfulness of Krishna, it will go away. Because Krishna has entered the heart. Do you understand this? This is a beautiful, Srila Prabhupada in the same lecture series in Bombay, he gives another example to explain this concept of how the darkness of the heart goes. He says that, look at this American boy. Now he's giving lecture to Bombay people. And his American disciples are sitting. So he's telling the Bombay people, see, look at these Americans. They have everything in America. They have a lot of wealth. But they don't have Krishna. That's why now they are happy. So then Prabhupada says, So America, people have all the money, but they don't have Krishna. That's why they are sad. Then Prabhupada gives the example that sometimes in European countries, in America, in Western countries, there is lot of light. There is floodlight, there is tube light, there is electricity 24 hours. But still, because there is no sun, they are depressed. Simply having light is not sufficient, Prabhupada says. We also need sunlight. See, in countries where sun doesn't rise for 4, 5, 6 months, there is 45% of the population suffers from a disease called as SAD, SAD, seasonal affective disorder, because of no sun. But they play football, they play cricket, they play all sports, there is light, floodlights are there, 24 hours the electricity is there at home, light is always there. But still they are depressed because sun is not there. So Srila Prabhupada says, similarly, sometimes people have all comforts. They have television, internet. Sometimes you go to some villages in India, they will have 4G. They will have all facilities, internet. But drinking water will not be there. Sometimes some those challenges can happen. So we may have all light. But if sunlight is not there, there will be depression. Similarly, we may have all facilities, all wealth, everything. But if Krishna is not, Krishna is compared to what in this analogy? Sun. And all the material opulences is compared to the light. And the vacuum, the sadness of the heart is compared to the darkness. For the darkness will go only when the sun rises, not with material possessions. That's the Srila Prabhupada has given us this formula, deity worship. So, the external solutions, not external, but the activity part of solution is what? Hearing, chanting, deity worship and devotional service. What are the solution? What are the topic we are discussing anyways? How to develop the fortitude and strength like Vidura and Pandavas. That when we go through suffering, how we can face suffering bravely. That is what we are discussing. Right? So to face suffering bravely, we have to practice these things. Devotional service. Outside that Indian Army Military Academy, they have put a big board which says, the more you sweat in peace, the less you bleed in war. For the more you work hard by hearing, chanting, devotional service, deity worship now, then when problems and suffering comes, we'll be able to handle it. So that is the first part. But along with all this of devotional service, we also need to cultivate some internal qualities. That is very important. And that is a game changer. See, simply hearing, chanting, deity worship will not work. Some attitude is also important in the heart. What is that? This is explained very beautifully by Krishna to Uddhava in the 11th canto. This is a classic situation devotees go through. Prabhuji, we know all this philosophy, we heard all this, but still we fail. Devotees ask this, still we give into sense gratification. So Krishna gives solution to all of us through Uddhava, in Uddhava Gita. Jato Shraddha Mat Katasu Nirvinna Sarva Karmasu Veda Dukkatmakan Kaman Parityage Panishvara Tato Bhajeta Mam Prita Shraddhalo Drida Nischaya Dushamanas Kaman Dukko Darkam Gharrayan. Krishna tells Uddhava, devotees who sincerely come to Bhagavatam class and hear with faith, Jato Shraddha Mat Katasu, very soon what will happen to them? Nirvinna Sarva Karmasu. They will understand that sense gratification is bad. Why they will understand it is bad? Because they are hearing Bhagavatam classes. And what they hear in the class? Veda, Dukkhatmakan, Kaman. They understand and they learn that sense gratification leads to misery. But look at the twist in the plot. There is a twist in this story. The last line, what is Krishna saying? Veda Dukkhatmakan, Kaman. Parityage Panishvara. They are not able to give up sense gratification, but they are hearing Bhagavatam classes. They are attending, they are learning, and what is happening? They are understanding that it is abominable. Why? Because they are hearing that it leads to misery. But Parityage Panishvara, they are not able to give up sense gratification. So many devotees relate to this verse. Prabhuji, this is our situation. So therefore, in the very next verse, Krishna has given us 4 things that we should do internally. We should cultivate this along with the bhakti. What are the 4 things? Tato bhajeta mam prita. Bhajeta means continue the bhakti, which we discussed before. Hearing, chanting, deity worship, seva, all that you do. But how? Tato bhajeta mam prita. Happily. Continue doing devotional service happily, although you are suffering because of sense gratification. Continue doing devotional service happily. Tato bhajeta mam prita. And you will think, Acha, Prabhuji, happily do bhakti. But I am also engaging in sense gratification. That means I am shameless, I am hypocrite. No. You are not a hypocrite if Shraddhalu Drida Nishchaya. You are cultivating faith in the process of bhakti and Drida Nishchaya. You are determined to give up sense gratification. Do you understand? 3 things are there. What is the first? Continue to do devotional service happily. And then second, cultivate faith. Third, determination. Tato bhajeta mam prita shraddhalu drida nishchaya jushamanas tan kaman. And then, even if you slip to sense gratification, dukkho darkamscha, you will become very miserable engaging in sense gratification because you heard so much Bhagavatam. And you are also continuing to hear Bhagavatam. So when you enjoy sense gratification, you will be miserable. Therefore, do the 4th thing. Dukkho darkamscha garrayan. Garrayan means repentance. Repent you are engaging in sense gratification. So look at the contradiction here. Sincere repentance and also, what is the first thing we heard? Happiness. Do bhakti happily and also sincerely repent. And cultivate faith and be determined. Do these 4 things. Krishna is telling Uddhav. So you are not a hypocrite. If you are suffering, you are engaging in sense gratification, but you are also doing happily devotional service. But that happiness you are doing devotional service, provided you are also determined to overcome and also you are repenting for what you are doing wrong. This is very important. That's what Srila Prabhupada said. Chant Hare Krishna and be happy. 2 things are here. Chant Hare Krishna also and be happy also. When you go to these temples in Vrindavan, you go to Nandagaon, Gokul Mahavan, you will see the pandas, they tell you, as soon as you enter, they tell you, haso, laugh, ha 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 ha, clap your hands, make Krishna happy. Be happy when you come in front of Krishna. When we come for deity worship, we don't go sulking inside that altar. We chant prayers, we offer dandavat, we smile. We have to be happy. Chant Hare Krishna and be happy. But determined to overcome the negativities. So, see what we are discussing now. See, Srila Prabhupada, he went through so much of setbacks. If you see, one failure, one setback after another, but he was always happy. There is a lecture, in America, New York, he is giving a class, and these elderly people are sitting, and Srila Prabhupada says, and I am remembering Vrindavan. I left Vrindavan to come to America. I am not happy here. And there's one old person says, yes, Swami, we can see you are not happy. And Prabhupada says, yes, I am sad, I am missing Vrindavan. My heart wants to go back to Vrindavan. But my Guru has ordered me, so I will stay here. I will serve. So there is happiness in service. But there is also, of course, that is spiritual. Prabhupada's sadness was also spiritual. But Prabhupada faced setbacks. He wrote letters after letters to Padampa Singhania of JK Company for getting all the funds for building a temple in New York. And if you see those correspondences, so much of hope, and then again, hope is lost. He doesn't get the funds. But Prabhupada says, I am not the one to give up hope. I am positive, I am happy. So many instances. Prabhupada was so sad, he would keep going to that India steamship company's port, and he would keep seeing when is the next ship going back to India. He wanted to go back, but he said, no, I have to serve. So there is sadness, but there is all happiness in serving Krishna. One is positive, one is hopeful. See, one of the reasons why we become depressed as devotees is because we start deriving our worth from our work. We think I am very worthy in Bhakti Yoga if I am doing a lot of projects, if I am giving so many lectures, if I have become big position, if I am doing so many projects, then I am worthy. And that is why we face more suffering. Our worth is not in what we do. We need to derive our worth from the fact that we belong to Krishna. Our worth is not in our work, but our worth is in who we belong to. We belong to Krishna. Yes, I am sinful, I am fallen, I am horrible, but I belong to Krishna. And Krishna is most wonderful person, therefore I am worthy. And that's why I am happy. Because devotees say, how can I be happy, Prabhuji? I am so fallen. Arey, you are fallen, but you still will be happy because you belong to Krishna. And Krishna is most wonderful person. That's why devotees should be happy. It's an instruction of Srila Prabhupada to be happy. So this is very, very important. So what we are doing is, as devotees in Hare Krishna movement, we have to understand what is spiritual world from Bhagavatam, what are the devotees doing in spiritual world, and then stimulate that here. In the sense, like, what is yesterday evening I was saying in one class, what these neuroscientists are doing, they are saying, acha, those people, peaceful people have this kind of brain waves. Depressed people have this kind of brain waves. So if this brain waves is what is happening to peaceful people, let us create those brain waves and become peaceful. Similarly, we are devotees, we see, acha, this world is Kunta, suffering, right? Suffering place. But what is Vaikuntha? Spiritual world where there is no suffering. What devotees are doing there? Let us understand that. And then let us do the same thing here. Then this will also become Vaikuntha. That logic devotees use. So what is happening in Vaikuntha? We'll come to this chapters later on. This is there in this section, the third canto only. Vaimanika salalana charitani shashvad gayanti yatra shamala kshapanani bhartu antarjale nuvikasan madhumadavinam gandena khandita diopanilam kshipanta. They are beautiful. See, just understand what is the psychology of devotees, residents in Vaikuntha, and see if we can cultivate that here. Then our suffering will also, this will become Vaikuntha, then no suffering. See, this world is suffering because here we get pleasure, but we also get suffering. It's like sweet rice mixed with sand. Can you eat sweet rice? Kheer mixed with sand. What will happen? You can't enjoy. Hey, sweet, but nahi hai. During Narsingh Chaturdashi festival, in the initial days, they made a beautiful cake, delicious cake, and everybody looking at that cake. Because fasting from morning till sunset, and the night prasadam time, that cake was there, everybody looking at that cake, sabko cake milega. And they were sitting, and then they made pieces. Everybody got one piece, Mahaprabhupada prayers over, now start eating. So everybody started eating, and that was, instead of sugar, they had put salt. So many devotees, what they did? Arey. But because anticipation, hope, for so long they waited for this cake. So they thought, शायद यहाँ से थोड़ा ऐसा लग रहा है, दूसरा साइड से शायद टेस्ट हो. इधर खाया, अरे इधर भी वही है, अरे सब जगह salt है. So material world ना, hope dies last. We think, नहीं यार, अभी happiness नहीं मिल रहा है, I'll enjoy a different way, I'll get happiness. ऐसा करेंगे तो शायद happiness आए. नहीं, ये कुंठा है, suffering है, नहीं मिलेगा. Therefore, let us see what is happening in Vaikuntha. Vaimanika salalana charitani shashvat. So in the aeroplanes, all these devotees are going with their consorts. Gayanti yatra shamala kshapanani bhartu. Their wives are there and they are singing glories of Krishna. So as they are singing the glories of Krishna, antar jale nuvikasan madhumadavinam. Beautiful Madhavi flowers, fragrance enters their nostrils. So they should feel good, no? मजा आ रहा है. No. Gande na khandita diyo anilam kshipanta. See, they are in the mood of taking shelter of the Lord. So when this sense gratification is coming, they immediately discard it so that their shelter is not disturbed. So this is the first thing we can do here. From sense gratification, move to shelter. See, in Vaikuntha, look at the poetic masterpiece Bhagavatam is. In material world, lowest consciousness is flowers and trees. Higher than that is animals. Then there is human beings. Avrita, covered. Then animals and birds is sankuchita. It's constricted. And then human beings is budding, mukulita. So covered, restricted, and blossoming. Right? So that is material world. So naturally in material world, humans' consciousness will be best. Animals and birds will be little lesser, and trees and plants will be even lesser. But in Vaikuntha, Everybody is pure devotee. And to make the point very emphatically, the Vaikuntha consciousness, Shukdev Goswami says, look at the human's consciousness there. They want to give up sense gratification to take shelter. Sense gratification to shelter. Then he says, now let's look at the birds and animals. Their consciousness is revealed to be even higher. Of course, it is same, but in this example, it is revealed how they are displaying even higher degree of consciousness. How? So, what are the human residents showing? From sense gratification to shelter. And what are the birds doing? Paravatanya britasa rasa chakravaka datyuya hamsa shukatittiri barhinamya kolahalo viramate chiramatra mucher bringadipe harikatam iva gayamana. So the birds are mentioned in Vaikuntha. Para, pigeon. Kaku, sarasa, crane, chakravaka, gallinule, datyuva, hamsa, swan, parrot, shuka, titri, partridge, barinam, peacocks, all these birds are mentioned. And what are they doing? Kolahalo chiramate chiramatra muche. They are all singing, dancing, jumping, glorifying Krishna. But suddenly, bringa dipe harikatam iva gayamana. The bumblebee comes there. Zzz. Bumblebee is glorifying Krishna. So as they hear, all the birds are hearing bumblebee glorifying Krishna, so they immediately stop there, jumping, dancing. They say, wait. Let us hear the bumblebee's glorification of Krishna. See, we may take shelter of Krishna. We may give up sense gratification and take shelter of Krishna. But as I'm taking shelter of Krishna, I may want to show off that I am the best devotee. But what are the birds showing? They are showing the quality of from show off to self-efface. Self-efface means humility. अपने आप को साइड में कर दो, सामने वाले को दूसरे को आगे कर दो. So they are all singing loudly, but they stop singing so that let bumblebee sing beautifully and let his song be heard everywhere. Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, in material world, even a donkey is proud of his singing, braying. But in spiritual world, the best singers want others to sing. So if we do this is also Vaikuntha consciousness. The first Vaikuntha consciousness is from sense gratification we move to shelter. Second consciousness in Vaikuntha is from not showing off, but what we do? Self-efface. We allow others glorification. Others to come in the front, others to give class. Let them lead kirtan. We will participate, we will assist. And this is actually Vaikuntha mood. If you see in our community, this has been the mood from beginning. His Holiness Srila Radha Swami Maharaj encouraged everyone to have this mood, that let others be glorified. And that's what happens, because those who have this mood, Krishna glorifies them in a stupendous way. Like we have one Mataji, Kirtada Mataji. Today morning I met her son, so I remembered her very affectionately. So she used to always sit there in the chair, and every class she would ask questions for His Holiness Radha Swami Maharaj. And she was a counselor, she was a great mother, grandmother, great wife. She was such an amazing Mataji. So much services she did. And how Krishna reciprocates, always glorifying others, always serving others. When her time to leave this world came, she was totally connected with Krishna. She was not a great guru. She was not a sannyasi. She didn't have thousands of followers, millions of followers on Facebook. But how she left the world? Her Guru Maharaj comes to see her. She was in the bed for many days, but just before leaving, one day before she left her body, her Guru Maharaj comes, sees her, and next day morning, all the family members are with her, and she's telling them, I think now I have to leave now. Time has come to leave. Give my bead bag. Okay. All of you stay happily, chant Hare Krishna, I'm going, Radhe Radhe, Hari Bol, Hare Krishna. She leaves the world with such amazing consciousness. She's gone back to the spiritual world because she was living the spiritual world rules here. Glorifying others, not wanting to show off, taking shelter, giving up sense gratification. So this is the human's consciousness, this is the bird's consciousness. And look at the height. The flowers, what are they doing in the Vaikuntha? Mandara kunda kurabot palacham pakarna punnaga naga bakulam buja parijata gandir chite tulasika bharanena tasya yasmim stapa sumanaso bahumanayanti. Now the flowers are described. What are the flowers in Vaikuntha? Mandara, Prabhupada translates all these flowers by the same name. Mandara, Kunda, Kurabotpala, Champaka, Arana, and then Punnaga, Naga, Bakula lily, Ambuja, lotus, Parijata. And he says all these flowers are, what is their situation? They are satisfied. That is their mood, their quality. They are satisfied in their service of giving fragrance. But they are satisfied in being small, but they move to what position? Gandher chite tulasika bharane natasya. They are all satisfied in their service of Krishna, but they are always remembering that we are nothing. Tulasi, look at her. Tulasi, she has performed lot of austerities to serve Krishna. She is the best amongst us. None of the flowers are thinking that we are the best in serving Krishna. They are meditating on the service of Tulasi. So, in Vaikuntha, even the flowers, they are satisfied in their service. They are satisfied being small, but they focus on the service of other servants. See, what I am doing is not so important. They are doing such glorious service to Krishna. Gandher chite, no, what is that? Gandher chite tulasika bharane natasya yasmim tapasu manaso bahumanayanti. They are considering Tulsi as bahumanayanti. She is worshipable. She is the one who has performed a lot of austerities to please Krishna. She is more important. This is the Vaikuntha mood. So these are the internal way we can develop. So externally what we can do to become like Vidura, like Pandavas? Chanting, hearing, devotional service, deity worship. And internally what qualities we need to develop? What are the qualities? First we discussed with Krishna to Uddhava what he tells? Devotional service, happily. Then faith, determination, repentance, and sincerely repent. And then we discussed Vaikuntha consciousness. We can try to get that mood here. What are the Vaikuntha mood? Sense gratification to shelter, show off to self-efface. Then you are small, satisfied, but meditate on the service of other servants of Krishna. Actually, I remember when I joined the ashram, we were around 40 brahmacharis that time. His Holiness Radha Swami Maharaj in one brahmachari class, he said, how many of you are here? So somebody said 40. So then Maharaj said, if each one of you takes care of himself only, how many people are taking care of you? One. And then Maharaj said, if each one of you is only thinking of taking care of others and serving others, how many people are taking care of you? 39. This is how a community is built. Everybody is serving and centered on others, making others more come closer to Krishna. So in that mood when we serve, then this place of suffering where Vidura is also not spared, even Krishna is not getting success all the time, right? So we all go through suffering in this material world, but this place will become Vaikuntha. This place will become happy place if we practice devotional service in the mood of hearing, chanting, deity worship, while cultivating faith, determination, and sincere repentance, and happily executing devotional service, making other devotees have the center of our lives. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Any comments or questions? Yes, Prabhu. Selfless service. Elaborate. Selfless service generally, see, okay. Selfless service basically means, okay, let us understand like this. There is body, there is mind, and there is soul. All of us know this. Generally, we are living in the world for body. Bodily, we are trying to satisfy body's needs. How do you satisfy body's needs? I want pleasure. I want food. That is bodily needs. I want food is body need. I want pleasure is body need. Okay? But there is a problem when we focus only on satisfying bodily need. What is the problem? Because the hankering for pleasure is more than the capacity of the body to enjoy the pleasure. Do you get it? Like craving of the tongue for food is more than the capacity of the body to take in food. So many people who live in the bodily level, they are suffering because, why they suffer? Because I want food or I want pleasure is a faulty paradigm. Some people, they understand, अरे इसमें तो मजा नहीं है, suffering है. But they try to satisfy their mental need. Mental need is, I want love. Instead of pleasure now, food, they look for love. I want love. That is also faulty paradigm, because even if you get a lot of love, you will always want more. You will never be satisfied. I want love is also, there are so many people we see, they have everything in life. They are loved. Still they say, "Aare humko koi pyar nahi karta." And when you hear the word love, immediately you start thinking, oh, somebody should love me. We always think of love as a need. I want to be loved. I want love. I want love. I want. So that is mental need. So most people in this world are living in the space of bodily need and mental need. Bodily need is, I want pleasure. Mental need is, I want love. You're talking about selfless service. That is the third need, the need of the soul. The need of the soul is not I want pleasure, not I want love. The need of the soul is I want to give love. There's a difference. I want to give love. When we live in this paradigm, I want to give love, you are taking care of the soul's need. And giving love means selfless service. So when we give love, we are practicing selfless service. We are also taking care of the soul's need. And when the soul's need is satisfied, you will see that mentally and bodily level also we are satisfied. That is the meaning of selfless service. Okay? Hare Krishna. Yes, I see one hand there. Yes. How to let someone go? Sorry? When you have done what? How to let someone go when we are attached to something. It is like, monkeys, how the hunter captures the monkey, in that box they keep peanuts, chana. So the monkey holds that chana. And then he has to take his hand out, but his hand is stuck in that face of that bottle. He just had to release the chana. But he doesn't release because he's attached. And then he is captured. Similarly, we are attached to things of this world. We have to let go. And when we have to let go, then we'll be free. But we are unable to let go. And you are asking how to let go. You let go by letting go. वो छोड़ना पड़ेगा. So I began the class by answering how. So now you are asking how to do how. So when please don't misunderstand. I'm not making fun of you. I'm just saying how to become detached. So I answer generally such questions of how by asking a question. Why? Why do you want to let go? So when somebody asks me Prabhuji, how to become sincere? Why you want to become sincere? Prabhu, how to improve chanting? Why you want to improve chanting? Anybody asks how, you ask them why. Then they become, Prabhu, how to improve chanting? So I tell them, why you want to improve chanting? But Prabhuji, because I want to go back home back to Godhead. Why you want to go back home back to Godhead? Because I want to perfect my human form of life. Why you want to perfect human form of life? Because Srila Prabhupada said that. Why you believe Srila Prabhupada? So you know what happens? When you ask why, 5 times you ask why, you are forced to go deeper. We like to ask how. Because when you ask how, the speaker will think, he will give answer. I just have to listen. If I like it, I'll accept it. If I don't like it, no problem. But I don't have to think. I don't have to tax my brain. It is easy to ask how, because I will get answer. But if I ask why, thoda churning hoga, thoda difficult hoga. See, introspection is not a happy experience. Introspection has to be disturbing and disrupting. It has to shake you. So when you ask why, it may take a little longer to get the answer. But once you get the answer to why, then how becomes easy. Once why is strong, then you will discover your own how. So how to let go someone? Why do you want to let go that person? Because that person is a pain in the neck, okay? Why is that person a pain in the neck? Because whatever. So when you go deep into why, then how aram se ho jayega? That is my answer. So His Holiness Niranjan Swami Maharaj says in ISKCON, one of the most common questions people ask is how. And he calls, many questions come in the category of how to do it questions. So he says the answer to all these questions is, answer to all how to do it questions is, you do it by doing it. How to become sincere? Become sincere. How to improve chanting? Improve chanting. His Holiness Srila Rompa Swami Maharaj also gives a good answer. If you ask him any how question, any question with the how, as soon as he hears how, His Holiness Rompa Swami Maharaj has a golden answer. He says, association. How to become sincere? Associate with sincere people. How to give up attachment? Associate with people who have given up attachment. Association is the answer for all how to do it questions by Rompa Swami Maharaj. Niranjan Maharaj says, you do it by doing it. And you ask Vraja Bihari Das, I say, why? So then you'll say, Are Bape, ye kya pucha? So like that. Is that okay, Prabhu? Hare Krishna. So should we stop here or? Yes? Okay, we'll stop here. Okay, we'll take one last question. Yeah, last question, then we'll stop. Yes. आ रहा है, माइक आ रहा है, बोलिए.
Wonderful class. My question is, you asked that while suffering from sense gratification, stick to devotional service. Then one may think that, okay, let me do sense gratification and devotional services both together. So, means how?
Sense gratification and devotional service both you may do. So how to not do it? So we'll have to hear the answer I gave in the. You have to hear what I spoke in the beginning, Uddhav Gita. What are the 4 things Krishna says to Uddhav? You tell me. Krishna doesn't say do sense gratification and enjoy sense gratification and also do devotional service. He didn't say enjoy sense gratification. What does he say? Repentance. Then what are the 4 things Krishna tells Uddhava? First thing is what? Tato bhajeta mam prita, happily do bhakti. So you think happily matlab enjoy sense gratification? No. Second, cultivate faith, means continue to come for the classes here. Determination means make a plan to overcome sense gratification. And then repentance. So if you are doing these 4, then where is the question of enjoying sense gratification? Hai? That doesn't answer your question. Hare Krishna. So we'll stop here. Sincere gratitude to all of you. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.